But I must say this, the most exciting fighter that's acting and fighting in boxing right now is Gervonta Tank Davis. When Gervonta Tank Davis go out there and fight, he reminds me of Pretty Boy Floyd. Because Pretty Boy Floyd, you couldn't go get no popcorn. You couldn't go get no soda. You couldn't go get no candy. You don't want to miss nothing.
Yo, let Tank knock him out, and then he hopping up and down with the and then get on the top rope and do a backflip. Yeah, man, please. Man, that was Jake Paul, though. No, that shit's lit.
The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was.
All Jake does is train boxing. It has for the last 6-7 years. So, like I said, if Tank knocks him out, which if his head is in the right place, not just literally but metaphorically, his mind is in the right place, he's switched on, and he's able to get Jake vulnerable to the body, fight can change very, very.
Fans are buzzing as Gervonta Davis gets ready to face Jake Paul in what might be one of boxing's wildest matchups yet. Some boxing experts predict Tank's power and speed will end it early, while others believe Jake's size and confidence could surprise everyone. Either way, this fight is guaranteed to deliver drama, fireworks, and unforgettable moments.
Tank 5'2" though, but it's like he's so
Tank's
short.
fast.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The height difference is
Like,
crazy.
is Jake even gonna be able to hit him? Like,
Or the
he's
other way
probably so
around.
fast.
He
Tank's
fast,
gonna be
but
able to hit
Tank-
Jake.
He's short though.
Tank's gonna hit him a
5'6"
lot,
or some shit,
right?
How tall is Tank? 5'7"? He's like 6'3". So different. That's
No, I know.
6'3" and big. Now technique, he got him in technique because he's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got to see that fight. That shit sound crazy.
Showbiz, the adult's prediction for Gervonta versus Jake, caught everyone off guard. He called it cold, saying this matchup has something dangerous about it, the kind of fight that could change careers. He didn't see it as just another exhibition. To him, it's real risk, real stakes, and maybe even a little chaos waiting to happen.
Gervonta, his fight against Jake Paul, and I'm probably going to catch shit about it. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I'm going to say this clean with no issue. That fight is exciting. Now, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Y'all talk shit about it. Y'all hate that shit cold. Bring it. Bring it. Y'all trying to hate on no, everybody. Even y'all professional fighters, everybody. That shit cold, bro. Hey. I hate that it's cold. Shit cold. Oh, no, Biz, you tripping. I know, Superman. I hate that it's cold. The shit's cold, bro.
He painted the picture of how unpredictable this fight could be. If it turns into a light sparring match, fans would be furious. But if either man lands something big, the internet might break. Both have too much to lose. Tank's legacy and Jake's momentum, so there's no room to play safe here.
It can be career ending. Jake Paul can end his whole shit. That's the black. Tank can end Jake Paul's whole shit. And if that fight is meh, and it's just a sparring session that's tit for tat, their shit's over. Because people gonna be pissed that it's exactly what they expected it to be. They can't do that. If they do, their career's ruined. Jake Paul career's ruined, and Tank. If they make it meh and just touch, both their brands suck.
Then he described the moment everyone's imagining. The bell rings, Tank's small frame slipping under Jake's jabs, the size difference almost surreal. Fans will be on edge, holding their breath every time Jake throws or Tank counters. It's that kind of tension you can't fake, the kind that turns fights into moments.
You mess around and that bell ring, and you see little Tank, and you see big Jake, and he's throwing a jab, and little Tank making a miss, and bam, and y'all gonna be like, whoa! say I'm lying. Y'all, you know what? Yes, say I'm lying. Please say I'm lying. But y'all gonna be right there cheering because you ain't never seen nothing that damn bizarre. Even De La Hoya versus Shaq had headgear, and Shaq ain't a boxer. That right there, fireworks. Because you're going to be holding your breath, especially Tank fans. I'm going to be like, don't hit Tank. You're going to see Tank little ass legs. He's going to, and big ass Jake, big legs and big ass head. Wham, wham. Watch.
And if Tank drops Jake, flips off the ropes, and celebrates mid-ring, Showbiz said that would be the most electric thing of the year, pure pop culture gold. But he didn't ignore the other side either, because if Jake connects clean, the shockwaves would be just as massive, maybe even career-altering.
And let Tank knock him out and then do a backflip off the... Let Tank knock him out and then he hopping up and down with the and then get on the top rope and do a backflip. Yeah, man, please. Man, that was Jake Paul, though. No, that shit's lit. If Tank knocks out Jake and do a backflip, that shit's lit. That'll be the most lit thing that happened all year. It'll be the most lit shit. Sadly, it will be. And that's the Black Two Sugars. Because it's pop culture. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Let Jake Paul hit Tank and knock that little man.
This fight isn't about hype, it's about proving who's really built for the spotlight. If Tank wins, he strengthens his legend. If Jake wins, he rewrites boxing's rules again. Either way, nobody walks out untouched.
Everybody who's saying that it's just going to be an exhibition, like it's just going to be a fake fight, y'all bracing yourselves. Y'all hope it is. If Jake knocks out Tank, y'all gonna say fake. The only thing y'all think would be real is if Tank knock out Jake. That's the only outcome y'all would think is real. If Jake knocks out Tank, y'all gonna say it's fake. If he goes the distance, y'all gonna call it fake. The only thing that y'all would call real is if Tank knocks out Jake. That's why Tank, you gotta knock him out.
Wade's Concepts' take for this matchup had a different kind of energy. He wasn't just hyping the fight up for clicks. He was digging into how this whole thing might actually play out. From what he pieced together, it looks like Tank's team is treating this as more than just an exhibition. They know that stepping in with Jake means stepping into a fight where one mistake can flip everything. Wade pointed out how their camp already had momentum before this matchup even got locked in, so Tank's not walking in cold. That mental and physical rhythm could be the thing that keeps him sharp against a guy like Jake, who's been training non-stop.
So, Calvin Ford, coach for Gervonta Davis, has been for pretty much since Gervonta started boxing. Sat down with Marcos over at Fight Hub. Shout out to Marcos for the footage, man. He's always killing the game with interviews and everything else. He sat down with Marcos, and they talked about Tank and potentially what he will do after the Jake fight, why he's doing the Jake fight, and what their biggest concerns are, which your biggest concerns end up being what you turn into your biggest weapons. The things you're most concerned about, you look to exploit because that's usually the other person's greatest strength, and behind it's their greatest weakness. So I'm going to take a look at this interview and show you guys why I think Jake might actually be in a little more trouble than I originally thought with this fight, and why I'm going to be more excited to see what Tank brings if the mindset is where I think.
But the part that caught Wade's attention wasn't just Tank's mindset, it was the small details. The talk about glove size, for example, told him a lot more than people might think. It's not just about equipment, it's about control. Jake gets to fight closer to what he's used to, while Tank is being asked to adjust again. That's a subtle disadvantage, and Wade clearly saw how that could mess with timing and rhythm. Still, he hinted that the Tank camp might use that frustration as fuel. Sometimes when you're forced out of your comfort zone, that's when you find a new edge.
So I don't actually disagree with Calvin Ford here. I said this when they made the exhibition in the first place. I was like, why doesn't Tank get to wear the gloves that he normally wears? If we're doing an exhibition and the weight doesn't matter, then why does the size of the glove have to match, right? If they don't have to weigh the same thing, why do the glove sizes have to be the same? None of this counts on a professional record anyway. So let Tank fight in the gloves he normally fights in, and let Jake fight in the gloves he normally fights in. Jake already has a massive power advantage. Putting Tank in 12-ounce gloves and Jake in 12-ounce gloves, it's not the same thing, really, is it, right? Because Jake trains in 16-ounce gloves, 18-ounce gloves, 20-ounce gloves. You're already, on the size part of this, you're already giving up a massive disadvantage if you're Tank by being 60 pounds less than the guy. Now, granted, your skills, your ability, all that on your side. You have that as an advantage for yourself. But why don't we try to keep the things that we can at least somewhat similar to how they normally fight? And that would be the gloves. I think that it would be, I agree with Cal.
Then came Wade's biggest observation, the one that gives the whole thing a bit of tension. He believes Jake isn't just trying to fight, he's trying to take something, not physically, but symbolically. Every time Jake steps into the ring with a real fighter, it's like he's chasing legitimacy. Wade pointed out how Jake has made a pattern out of it, including taking names, moments, and legacy from pros who underestimate him. So this time, it's not about who can hit harder, but who's more aware of what's really at stake.
He's not wrong, man. Listen, as much as everybody has jumped on this fight and talked about, exhibition, circus, whatever there is one reason and one reason only that Jake does these type of fights. Yes, two reasons. One is a major bag. Two is to take legacy from these professional world champion, former world champion fighters, boxers and boxers, really. He did it with Tyron Woodley. He did it with Ben Askren. He did it with Mike Tyson. Kinda. But that's the entire goal. He had Gervonta on this, quote-unquote hit list for 4 years because he wanted to take the shine, the legacy. I'm better than he is. I'm a better boxer than Gervonta. I beat Mike Tyson. I'm on Mike Tyson's record. All that, right? That's what he wants to do. So, again, I will say, if you come in and take him lightly, he can not only ruin your night, he can ruin your legacy. And that's what you can't have happen if you're Gervonta Davis.
You can tell Wade sees both danger and opportunity in this fight. On one side, Tank's skill is still unmatched, but on the other, Jake's power and drive to prove himself can't be ignored. Teddy Atlas looked at this matchup and didn't sugarcoat what he saw. The first face-off told him plenty. Jake stood taller, heavier, and carried that weight like a real advantage. Tank, on the other hand, looks smaller, but far from intimidated. Teddy joked that Tank might need a ladder to reach Jake's chin, but there was more behind his words. He saw how those differences could shape what happens once the punches start flying. When Teddy noticed Tank's reaction to the fight weight being set at 195 instead of 190, he picked up on something subtle. The look on Tank's face said it all. It was a mix of surprise and irritation.
But remember, always read the small print. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. But always read the small print, okay, people out there? Always, okay? And if you're not sure, then put your glasses on or get somebody to read it for you. No, look, I'm going to say the only thing I can say, and you put it right there. Everything off of what we saw with the face-off for the promotion. The first thing I think about, you talked about the zeros in the contract, you talked about all those things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff, particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either.
Still, Teddy wasn't counting Tank out. He hinted that all the advantages in size won't matter if Tank lands the shot he's known for. He spoke carefully, like someone who's seen too many upsets to call it early. Jake's power is real, but so is Tank's precision. And Teddy left it at that. He wanted viewers to feel that quiet tension, the kind that builds before something big happens.
I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but a little different. The size difference was, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping. And it made me think, and I'm going to ask Richie, our our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvel.
To drive it home, Teddy compared the face-off to a scene from Rocky III. Rocky standing under Hulk Hogan, smaller but fearless. It was his way of saying that size doesn't always tell the whole story. The moment that bell rings, anything can shift. Teddy didn't pick a clear winner, he just left it hanging, like he knows the real answer won't show until someone hits the canvas. When
Rocky III.
My favorite out of all the Rocky movies, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Clubber Lang, wow. So that's what it made me think of. When they got in the center of the ring and you had Hulk Hogan, and it made me think of Paulie. When Paulie, God bless him, Burt Young, God bless him. He used to come to my foundation every year, and he, you know, good man. But it made me think of him, Bud, when they were coming into the ring and Hulk was coming out, and Paulie says, "Why are they carrying him?" and Mickey, the great Mickey, the trainer, said, "They're not. They're not." Or somebody said it, whatever it was. But they're not carrying him. All right. Well, he's a big sucker.
it came to Jeff Mayweather, he didn't hold back when he shared his thoughts on Paul versus Davis. He started by calling the matchup strange, pointing out the huge difference in size between the two. His tone made it clear that while the fight might grab attention, it doesn't really make much sense from a boxing perspective. He mentioned that the only thing that makes it somewhat acceptable is the fact that it's an exhibition. Since no official records are on the line, it's easier to let something like this slide. Still, the gap between a 200-pound fighter and someone who might come in around 150 just sounds too extreme, even for entertainment's sake.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting, but I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
The fight between the two is getting closer, and fans can't stop talking about it. It's the kind of matchup that feels unpredictable. On one side, you have Tank's speed and power. On the other hand, Jake's size and growing confidence. Both have something to prove, and that's what makes it exciting. This isn't just a fight, it's a moment where two worlds meet. Jake wants respect in real boxing, and Tank wants to show that skill always wins. The pressure is high, and everyone's waiting to see who handles it better when the lights come on. No one knows how it will end. Maybe Tank lands a clean shot early, or maybe Jake shocks everyone by lasting the distance. Either way, this one feels big, and fans will be watching closely. Who do you think wins, Tank or Jake? Let us know in the comments below.